What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I woke up from a nap and I was here. So kidnapping is real. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if I'm in danger yet, but I'm here. What's going on, sir? How are you doing?
I mean, at least you're not up in front of the camera with a newspaper and reading from a cue card. So as long as you're
knowing
here,
me, it'll be a tablet. It'll be a tablet turned sideways. I'm very artistic that way. And the text will be so large that you have to read it letter by letter. It spells out hell. Spoiler warning.
H-E-L.
You got it.
Oh, hell.
Stop
hell.
right there.
No, man, but I'm
you
doing
probably
great.
figured it out after the first two letters. If you,
yeah, you're like H-E. You say hello?
No. Keep reading.
L, I think it said hello.
Keep reading. Welcome to the show.
If you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV show, or trailer. We react to it, we watch it, we break it down, we review it, and we answer the question, is it super?
Is it?
Is it? We're gonna find out. But if you like that, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get the audio podcast, you can look for All Things Super on all your favorite podcast streaming services. And if you want to join in on a conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And we like reading the comments.
And we like reading the comments.
For all the audio listeners, you're only getting half the fun. You should come to the video side and actually see what's going on over
There's
here.
a lot that you're missing now just listening to the podcast. I mean, you're still getting all a good conversation, but you're not getting the visuals. The visuals,
unless you're visually challenged, it's okay.
Yeah,
but the visuals are worth it in a sense if you see the expressions.
Yeah, but anyway, this episode, we're going full spoilers because what did he say? The power dynamic of the DC universe is about to change forever. Is that what he's been saying for the past?
That's what he's been saying.
How long?
10 years, 12 years,
about that much. But we are reviewing.
We knew it was coming.
We knew it was coming. But we are reviewing Black Adam, the newest film from DC, Warner Brothers, starring Dwayne Johnson.
Whoa. What we're not going to do is that. What we're going to do is give our man the right billing and deservance of the presence of being up there at the top that he deserves to be at. So when you say DC, Warner Brothers, what's the other one you said?
I said
the other one you said?
Starring Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. $7 was in the building producing as well, my sir. My guy, $7 is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's own production company, and he was right there making it happen. He deserves to be mentioned. Go ahead. I'm just laying it out there. Yo. It's all I can get him to do, Rock. I could get him to do more than that.
Dwayne Johnson, Pierce Brosnan, Aldous Hodge. So some big names, some lesser known names, but we're gonna get into the cast of characters that we have. But yeah, we're talking about Black Adam.
Wow. That sounds a little lackluster on your side there, Spider. What's going on in the throat? I heard it's Black Adam.
It is Black Adam.
He's gonna come in and change the power dynamic of the DC universe. And are you trying to say that he didn't come and deliver on what he said he was gonna do?
I'll say that we get into talking about the movie.
Apparently, this is code, ladies and gentlemen, for we cannot go any further without hitting the official spoiler woman. So in 5,
Yes.
4, 3, 2, 1. That is your official spoiler woman. If you haven't seen $7, DC and Warner Brothers version of Black Adam, you might want to go ahead and get on out of here because we're about to spoil the movie for you. And if you're listening at this point, you know what it is.
You know what it is.
What's going on? You not feeling like the power dynamic has shifted?
No, because I feel like there wasn't really a power dynamic in the DC to begin with.
Shots fired. I agree so much. I agree so much with everything you just said. I know it seemed like I didn't agree, but I did. So, but this situation, not so much, honestly. Really? You really think there wasn't because you're saying there wasn't a set established universe. Is that what you're saying?
It's not about there being a set established universe. With the universe that they did establish, there was no clear front runner, right? Because you had Man of Steel, you had Batman.
I would say Shazam was.
as far as enjoyable movies go, then yeah, Shazam is leading the pack as far as the movies go. But even still, Shazam has not really been talked about since his movie came out, and has not been talked about again since the new trailer came out. I feel like Shazam has been kind of an afterthought, and not to say that the movie wasn't good, but because of everything else that Warner Brothers and DC has been going through. So we have all the controversy between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and that brought the Aquaman movie into it. We have all the controversy with Ezra Miller, and that brought the Flash into it. And what was going on with the Flash and how it was being directed, and what was going on with that, and who was going to be in it. Michael Keaton's going to be in it. There's going to be Flash variants in it. There's going to be Supergirl in it. Or not even Supergirl, Superwoman, I think. Or was it Supergirl? One of the two. But basically all of the media surrounding all of these other properties, we weren't talking about Shazam. Nobody mentioned Shazam until the trailer for Shazam Fury of the Gods came out. And now we're like, oh, Shazam, they got another Shazam movie coming out. And then the whole thing with Ben Affleck, is he coming back as Batman? Is he not going to be Batman? Is there going to be any Batman? What's going to happen with Henry Cavill? Is he coming back as Superman? Is he not coming back as Superman? What's going on with the DCEU as a whole? Batgirl got canceled. You know, all of this stuff. Everything that's going on with DC as far as the movies are concerned.
Messy. It's just messy.
Absolutely.
It's a PR nightmare.
And so Shazam, with all its, due accolades, has just kind of fallen in the back burner because it was fine. And there's nothing else to say about it other than that. So all of this stuff going on because there's so much uncertainty in the DCEU.
You got a new Batman with Robert Pattinson that just happened.
Also, yes, and I again completely slipped my mind. But yes, so now you got a new Batman. But all of that's going on. There's, like I said, there's no clear lead in the DCEU. So when you say the power dynamic of the DC universe is going to change forever, is going to shift, who is it shifting from? You can't say that there's a power dynamic that's going to change if you're not taking that power from anyone.
Now, in essence of what the man was saying was, the Man of Steel is known as the king of the DC universe.
Let some DC fans tell it as Batman.
Yeah, because Batman beat the shit out of him numerous times. Numerous times. It's just,
I'm not denying that. I will
really,
say if you
really
look
embarrassing
at,
how many
if you look at HBO Max, if you look at HBO Max and you look at the DC section, a good, I would say 70% of the titles under the DC section of HBO Max is Batman. So obviously
or a Batman adjacent property,
or Batman
like
adjacent
a Lego
properties.
movie.
Yeah. So it's clear that Warner Brothers, DC, they're heavily leaning into Batman. So if you're saying that the power dynamic between it in the DC is going to shift, then that means that Black Adam is taking that lead away from Batman. So that means that Black Adam is now going to be the face of DC and not Batman. And I don't see that happening.
Maybe.
You have Batman extending its franchise as far as television and movies go back into the 60s. And Black Adam, as far as television and movie properties go, we've had Black Adam maybe show up in Injustice video games. I don't even think he was like even apparent in any of the Justice League animated cartoons.
He is in some
animated properties. He is in some animated movies, but he doesn't have an animated movie of his own. He's never been the lead until now.
Not in nothing else besides the comics.
Right. So I'm not saying that The Rock could not take this character and in the future make him the face of DC. I still think that it's going to be a very challenging task to take that away from Batman. But as of right now, with just one movie under his belt, I can't agree that the power dynamic in the DC universe has shifted.
So you're looking at two different kind of heroes. And Black Adam is not even a hero. He's an anti-hero.
Right.
And there's no qualms about being an anti-hero. In a post-COVID anti-hero genre, you got to look at the situations like Deadpool, who is also an anti-hero. Deadpool kind of does what he wants.
Right.
And let's see if we'll get Namor in the same vein of being an anti-hero. Just like this true Killmonger was the anti-hero. He wasn't a villain because you could relate to his purpose and why he was doing what he's doing. So he wasn't really just a villain out just to be evil. He very well thought out and planned. So the reason that I'm saying this is because I think they did that with Black Adam. I think he did a little bit of this. He did a little bit of that. When he came through, he saved the lady. But he also murdered everybody else in the room.
Right.
Why did he save her? You gonna tell me some Kondakian soldiers wasn't in that group? Chances are they probably were, because when you hit down, you kind of need some talent. But you can argue it was all part of the team.
I think if we're going into the actual part of it, I think that she reminded him of his wife.
Of his wife?
I think that's why he saved her, or why he spared her life.
I caught that one section on the way they shot it, and I could see somewhat of a similarity, but the similarity wasn't that. And I don't know if that was intentional or unintentional to say it reminded her, like you're saying, or it was a variant of her. Maybe she's reincarnated. We didn't deal with it, and that could just be me, and I'm okay with that. But all I'm saying is, they did exactly that. I think they carefully stacked the deck with enough of good versus I do what the hell I want to do, leave me alone, and define the character.
Yeah. I would say because we get the line at the end of the movie, and of course we already gave the spoiler warning. But we get the line at the end of the movie. We said, I don't believe Kahndaq needs a champion, but it could go with a protector. And that's what he did. And in the sense of the word, he did work to protect his people, and that being Adriana and her son, and protecting the people of Kahndaq. So at the end of the day, I think that's even in the comics. I'm not familiar with the Black Adam comics, but I do remember him in injustice. And one of like his dialogue lines throughout the game was always he's protecting Kahndaq. That's his main priority. It doesn't matter what you're doing in Gotham or Metropolis or Star City or wherever you are. As long as y'all stay out of Kahndaq and leave me alone, then I don't have a problem with y'all. But y'all bring, trouble to my door.
Same thing everybody's doing. T'Challa doing it for Wakanda. Nemo's doing it for, and I know across the universes, but that's what we do on this show. If it's your first time, welcome. It's just a great conversation that we're having. So everybody's defending their own territory. I'm even throw Spawn in there and say he's defending the alley. But you're right. If you don't come along with your drama, we good, as kings do with their land. But the question that I'm asking you is, do you think that DC would be okay with putting the face of the company
in an anti-hero's hands?
Exactly.
No.
Now they are dark. But are they that dark? Because when Batman started murdering people, they took a hit on that. The fandom does not like that.
No.
And upset the fandom.
and in that same vein, then no, I don't think that they would want Black Adam. He can be a face, but not the face. He can be like a draw. He can be a box office draw, but when it comes down to it, right? But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, Batman is still going to be their guy.
Oh, I can't deny that either. That's a true statement. It's going to be Batman or Superman, and Superman colors are easy to sell. You can't do only so much with black. You can only do so much of, but I like what they did. I don't like everyone leaning into year one. We've leaned into year one so many times in Batman. We need to just go ahead and give us Batman Beyond.
Right.
Because that's what everyone wants. And you can see from the MCU with the suits that they made for Iron Man, we want to see how Terry McGinnis' suit's going to come together. And one thing I will say that they're doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll get into this later. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, even if we don't get into Batman Beyond, we've seen through numerous animated properties, numerous comic book runs, numerous animated feature films, how even Batman, similar to Iron Man, has a variety of suits, because this is the man who's always prepared, the world's greatest detective. So he has contingency plans for his contingency plans. He has backup plans for every eventuality. And so depending on the villain or the antagonist that he's going up against, he's developing some type of way to be prepared against him. And I feel like Batman, other than Spider-Man, probably has one of the greatest rogues galleries in all of comic book characters. You have a number of antagonists to choose from. Condiment King.
Calendar Man.
Right.
It's like, come on.
And so we're always going back to Joker. We're always going back to Bane. We're always going back to Penguin. We're going to the same people over and over again. And yes, I know they are iconic Batman villains, but if we would step away from year one, right?
But so is Croc.
But the only Croc we've gotten is in Suicide Squad, and that was awful. But I feel like we could do so much better, right? I feel like we could. I feel like a Clayface villain in a Batman
so much easier to do now.
It's so much easier to do now, but I feel like it would be so great. I feel like Scarecrow was attempted in Batman Begins, but I feel like they didn't really tap into all of the all of the possibilities, because Scarecrow, even though he is Scarecrow, he's also almost a genius. Dude is incredibly smart, and just him wanting to, in Batman Begins, him wanting to pollute the city's water supply and spread his fear toxin across the city. It's like, okay, you want to do that, but exactly why?
Doing that?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that the motivation behind it, I just felt like it wasn't there.
Right.
But all I'm saying is that DC as a movie studio
too, though. That was the League of Shadows that had that plan,
right?
To drive,
and they just used Scarecrow as a pawn.
Yeah, they just wanted the city to tear itself down. But I get what you're saying. Right. You could have gave us a little more about how that interaction happened. Because he was already recruited about the time we got to the story.
Right. And like you said, we're always going back to year one, to when Batman is first starting out and getting his footing under him. Let's get a Batman movie where he's already seasoned. He's been doing this for years now. He earned that world's greatest detective moniker. Right. But the thing about it is that we saw Ben Affleck as Batman, but it wasn't even really his movie, so to speak. It was Batman vs Superman, and we were more worried about him getting back at Superman because of, what happened in The Man of Steel, and that was his motivation behind it. So it wasn't really Batman doing Batman things, trying to fight a Batman villain. So if we were to get a Batman movie with an established Batman, somebody who kind of like what they did in The Batman, how they were showing that Batman already has this reputation as, being vengeance, being of the night. So that way, when somebody heard footsteps in the dark, a criminal, we get scared because they're like, oh shit, Batman might be coming. But if we had something like that, to where, like we said, this Batman has already been doing this. He's been in the game for a while now. So we have all of this stuff. If it's just a dream movie would be to take some of the elements from the Batman, because we got some of those detective elements. I mean, even though it was something as cheesy as look at that for a little bit, extended period of time, and figured it out. And, just more. I know
where Carmen Sandiego is.
But just more investigative stuff, and it's like there's I feel like the movie can be written so much better to actually showcase the skills of Batman. Batman is a master of martial arts. He's mastered almost every single form of martial arts. Have him doing something like that, to where he's not just not year one, but I'm saying like down the line, because we know he trained with the League of Shadows. We know he's trained with different martial arts masters. So having a Batman who's been in the game for like 7-8 years and fighting criminals actually in a suit where he could move instead of just being like just plate armor, something with some flexibility, some type of armor, some titanium weave fabric or something that's still bulletproof, but it's not like just metal to where he can't move. We're talking so much about.
No, you're right. We are, and we're going to get back to Black Adam in a second, because again, we're on top because we're talking about the power dynamic shifting and what makes Batman iconic, and what are the areas they can, showcased in Black Adam to show this is how the dynamic is shifting, because everything you said about his suit is definitely true, and I think we could talk about that at a different time. But even if you watch Black Adam, they showed how he got his suit. He flew straight up, and it kind of pieced to him, and I was like,
a manifestation of his rage.
There you go. I thought that was different.
Yeah.
I thought they kind of, listen, I'm going to say this. This movie took the liberties of breaking the mold of not giving you your traditional origin story. They're not based in, don't get it twisted. All hero stories or superhero stories are going to be based in tragedy. That's how any great story is based. It's based in tragedy. Because you have to have the same compassion for your antagonist or your protagonist that he does, or understand his motivations. So that's just in good storytelling. So we get that, and then we get a little twist in there. And like you said, we hit the spoiler warnings already. We found out it wasn't even The Rock. It wasn't even Dwayne Johnson. It wasn't even Black Adam himself. It was his son who actually stood up and became a champion for his people. So in that process, his family is attacked. His family is attacked and his dad is attacked. He comes back, and what kid that doesn't love their father, because there's some that don't, that loves their father enough to say, take this power because I want you to live. And as soon as I did, even to let you heal yourself and get better, wow, I got shot with an arrow.
Right.
It wasn't Hawkeye, because Hawkeye would have, but he got shot with an arrow and lost his son in the process. And then you little punk wizards were trying to tell me what to do. Y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know my pain. Yeah, I got this power from y'all, but this not from y'all. This from my son. My son gave this to me. And they probably looking at him like, oh, he defiant. Oh, he ain't gonna be coming out here talking to us like that. So they probably imprisoned him.
Here's my thing that I was thinking about when I was watching this. What is up with these wizards and recruiting children? Like, are there no adults that are worthy of the powers of Shazam? Like,
it's really creepy. I gotta find me a little boy that's kind of bad. You know what I'm saying? It's
I gotta find me a little boy that's not willing to listen to the rules. That's because that's really what it is. Right. These little troublemaking young boys.
Good kids.
Right. Yeah. They breaking the rules. They want to be defiant and all this other kind of stuff. We're like, oh, okay. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and... Consistency
in the DC $7 universe. That's what they're showing right there, because that's Billy Batson was bad, right? He was a problem
Billy
kid.
Batson stole a cop car.
And then that's one of them looks, all your listeners, that you wanted to see. Sorry, it wasn't Dead Space. So yeah, that's consistency. So now we're at the situation. I think they're doing what's necessary, which is laying all the seeds in the groundwork. If they're not saying this is our Iron Man, they sure did use an Iron Man like formula in the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad and it's weird. And it's the dark side of DC. I don't know if $7 want to put their name on this. You know what I'm saying? That's
they already did.
That's kind of creepy. In the front, where it deserves to be. But no, it is a consistency. Like I'm saying, that they're putting everything in place, like they put all the ingredients there. They gave you anti-hero. They gave you hero. They gave you attitude. They gave you introvert. They gave you extrovert. I don't care, but I do care about my people, and it's your son, and I'm gonna go. And I don't know, Sprite. I'm just feeling like you're not team black. You're not team black over here. So
that's an odd.
The man in black. The man in black sent you.
That line. In the
nice throwback line, right?
No, it wasn't, because it was that whole through line. Because all right, so here's my take, and I already know what you're gonna say. You're gonna talk about I have high expectations, and to be honest, I do have high expectations for this, because, like you said, this man has been working on this project for 10 years. I wasn't expecting it to be perfect, but I felt like it could have been better than what it was. So that whole through line of tell him that the man in black sent you. First of all, that kid, what was the kid's name? I'm looking at the IMDb list.
Okay, but we all know what kid it is if we saw the movie. And we already said at this
Amon.
point.
The kid's name was Amon.
Amon, that's what I was going to say if I looked it up.
So Amon, from the first time he met Black Adam, gave me extreme. Remember the kid in The Samaritan?
Yes.
pounding him with questions. It's like, I don't care. It's like just not willing to just listen for a second. And you see this guy is clearly a superhero. He doesn't want to be bothered with you. He's trying to understand. He's trying to understand exactly what's going on, but you just hammering, pounding him with questions over and over and over again. It's like, just shut up for a second and just allow him to talk. I didn't like that. He didn't do that throughout the entire movie, so I kind of appreciate that. He kind of like tempered down a little bit, but that was something that was kind of annoying, just because it's like every child in the movie who sees a superhero. Yes, I do understand that, you know, there's a fandom thing about it, and you can see that obviously he loves the superheroes. He's talking about Batman, talking about Superman. He has all the posters in his room, so all the comics and everything. Right, he was riding around the city with comics. And so I understand the excitement behind it because you see an actual superhero right now. But I feel like I feel like you wake up, you see an actual superhero and he starts flying. I feel like you'll be more speechless than bombarding him with questions and trying to give him tips on how to be a better superhero, how to give him catchphrases, tell him he needs to change his name because Teth Adam is old fashioned. And it's like, that seemed almost like borderline disrespectful. In a sense, it was like, your name is like, Teth Adam is my name. It's like, yeah, but if you're going to be a superhero, you might want to change it. It's like, you telling me I need to change my own name? I could like literally fry you with electricity right now because you. In
the world that I don't know, world that I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. It just coming to me, you know, slowly. This is where am I?
I have this teenager that just won't shut the hell up.
Don't use doors at all.
That's another thing that I didn't. That's another thing that I didn't like. I was like, I know, I don't care if you were from 4500 BC or whatever. We saw that his son, when he was injured and he was about to die, his son walked through the door. You know what a door is. You know what a wall is. Why are you just breaking through every single wall? And also, does Adriana not care about her house? She was not concerned at all that she was losing all her walls. When Black Adam and Hawkman was fighting in her apartment and they were just blasting through everything, and then Dr. Fate was just kind of sitting there like chilling, she was not concerned. She had no concern about the state of her house.
Hey, we got to move to the next thing. And that's, if I had to say anything, that's what I will say. I will agree with you. It was rushed. 100%. Yes. We had a lot to get through and a lot to get to, and they wanted to make sure they gave it to you. It did not follow your typical formula for movies.
No,
superhero movies. It took it and it started it here and it kind of progressed it on along just to give you all of that. They squeezed a lot in there. Mm-hmm. Could it have been better if they took some things out? Yes. But that's not the direction that they decided to go in. They decided to squeeze it all in there, and not without fail, as all movies, they have their issues. So I just got to say, Mr. High Expectation, I mean, how much fault are you allowed to have? Because you didn't like that part, and I can agree. That's annoying as hell. I think anyone can agree. There's ways to introduce an over enthusiastic fan, and then there's ways of not doing that. So, and I say that because that never works on any level in any movie. Has it ever been something that's good? This situation of, it's just too much going on too fast. And we established some things, but
my biggest,
and what's with all the shots? There was a lot of Superman shots. He punched through the Superman emblem, and then again something happened. It was right through the Superman chest. It's like, wow.
It was heavy, a heavy-handed foreshadowing. because that's the whole thing. That's his intention of the power dynamic of the DC universe is shifting, and that was the symbolism is shifting from Superman to Black Adam. He's the new Superman character now. I'm not saying that it is, but that was the symbolism that they were trying to portray.
Did you catch it? Because they threw it.
I saw it. Hard. They threw it at you multiple times, and they would not stop throwing it at you.
By the way, I can beat the shit out of this guy.
Exactly. But I think that my biggest dislike of the movie just all boiled down to dialogue for the most part. Like,
okay,
there was some.
Are we counting patience? These words. Pacing. One. Okay, I said it before you said it, so don't do that.
I'm just making sure that's what you're asking about.
Yes, are we counting that as one?
See, I didn't really.
The question was how many flaws are they allowed to have? So we got to keep
tally. Are they
count.
allowed to have? See, I didn't really have a problem with the pacing. I didn't think that the pacing was bad.
Pacing's gone. That's just me then.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we have our differing opinions. But yeah, I didn't really have a problem with the pacing. I feel like the story that they were trying to tell and the way that they were trying to tell it, I thought it was actually really adequate. It was really. I felt like the way they were going from the beginning of the movie to where they ended up in the end of the movie, that entire story, I felt like was planned out really well. The execution of it is where it fell apart for me, because so my thing is, you have this character who is from ancient times. He doesn't know modern customs. Again, he doesn't know how to use doors for some strange reason. But it's like when he was introduced and he came out and he was saving Adriana and her brother from the what was the name of the group?
Mercenaries. We could just call them mercenaries.
Yeah, they were the mercenaries. So the mercenaries. Yeah. So saving them from the mercenary, they're shooting missiles at the car and all of that stuff.
Where'd they get that missile from? And how did they know about it?
Well,
the one that hurt him.
The one that hurt them. Well, I mean, you saw that they had this whole mining operation, so they had been mining for however many years, because I think Adriana said that Intergang, that's the name of them. Intergang came to Kahndaq 20 years ago and basically took over the city.
This dude been gone for 5,000 years. This metal hurts him?
Well, I'm not saying that they knew that the metal. I'm not saying that they knew that the metal hurt him. I think that because they had been mining and they, of course, found Eternium in their pursuits, it's the same thing that Shield was gonna do in the first Avengers movie. They're taking these Hydra weapons, and because they know that there are superpowered people in the world. We already established that Superman exists, Batman exists, the Flash exists. So their Intergang, they know that they're doing, performing criminal activities. So if they ever have to encounter a superpowered being, they're developing these Eternium weapons in the hopes that may.
So when he was electrocuting like all these other people, nobody thought to go get that shell and go ahead and shoot that at him. It's
you're asking questions that I don't have the answer to.
This is my emotional support pillow, okay? I need emotional support. I'm going to squeeze this pillow. Get that out of here. So the question I'm really asking is, okay, so pacing is not an issue.
Pacing wasn't an issue.
What's the issue?
The issue is the dialogue. The issue is him being a man out of time, but immediately making jokes. We saw that Dr. Fate was trying to teach him. Barrier. There should have been. There really should have been, but I guess the power. Well, because the powers, I know the Egyptian gods that they were basing Shazam, his version of Shazam off of. They were different gods because, like with Shazam, he has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, you know, and all this other kind of stuff. So the wisdom, even though it's not Solomon that he's gotten it from, you know, whatever god or deity he's getting his wisdom from, I would guess that will allow him to speak, you know, any and every language. So I guess that's where the language barrier goes away. That's just my guess. That's just my guess.
Yeah. I mean, if we're guessing, I mean, they didn't do a great job of
explaining it. Right. But so it's just, I felt like they were trying to force comedy into the movie where it didn't necessarily need to be. No, I understand you have to have some comedy, but like Atom Smasher, like just being a complete klutz, and I don't know. It's just like,
I actually thought Atom Smasher was a joy. Out of everything that was going on, it was good to see him show up, eating something, doing a Brad Pitt, and then as any guy would do, try to get with the girl on the team. Hey, what's up? You gonna twist around?
So unnecessary.
You know I grow, right? I get big, baby. I'm a grower now. The show. Welcome to the show. What I'm saying is, it was kind of cool that he was a nice contrast to essentially a off and on team up movie. I mean, that's what it was. It was you got an origin story and a sequel in the same movie. I think you're not looking at it kind of like, yeah, you got a team up. Look, you got
what sequel?
Like Adriana was saying, like, where was the Justice Society when their country was getting overthrown?
Right.
Right. I mean, you guys didn't show up then, so why should I be over here helping you when we have a hero that we all know about him? Like, we all know about, because it's clear this whole country knows about him, and he's finally here. It's like seeing a second Messiah coming, and you already seen that he's real. Like, you see with your eyes. I don't have to take someone's word for it. He's right there flying. He just bust a hole in the wall. Like, he here. I believe in Adam, and he's here to save us. Well, he's still figuring it out to the point that now he figured it out. In a world where aliens, wizards, and gods can come through, you kind of want to be in one of these major countries that has somewhat of a protector. Or you could be pushing a rock up a pyramid or some nonsense like that and clearly it's already happened to them because they've already been overthrown by the rock diggers. So, I feel you get that. You get an origin story in the sense of who Black Adam was.
Mm-hmm.
You get a team-up movie, but you still get your heroes who, again, connected tissue are working with Waller, so you can say Waller is about as clean or dirty as you need her to be. But this is the new Suicide Squad in a sense, because now they're dispatched. How does she know about Black Adam? How did she know that he woke up? How do we know this? Right. That's what my question was. And if you would have gave me, we got some rumblings going on, go there to investigate, and it's like, there's a dude here, and he is lightning power, that would have been more of a better transgression as into the Justice Society and what they're doing and who they're for. And we can get references that they work together before on different cases. Obviously, the two new recruits, the youngins trying to get together, is something that's in addition to what's going on. I don't know how you're looking at high expectations. I'm just saying there's some things, but there's not some things. So you got one, which is the dialect and dialogue. I got that. What's your second
one? So my second one is the number of. It's the cinematography behind it. We got the fight scenes. Some of the fight scenes were good. Some of the fight scenes were pretty bad because the number of cuts that we get into some of these fight scenes, it's just. not even some of the fight scenes, it's just like even just some of the scenes, period. It was just like cut, 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 just like switching back and forth. And it just felt like so egregious. And like I said, some of the fight scenes were good. Him, when he came out of the temple, he's fighting in the desert, and it shows, because we see him, and we saw in the trailer him being able to move at super speed and being able to just do that and just switch and, you know, kind of just move at you know, at a pace that we can't see him. Great. Them slowing it down in the desert and sort of giving us that Quicksilver X-Men Days of Future Past scene, and him kind of just going through Flash.
Okay,
yeah,
not Flash.
Kind of that. We'll leave that one alone. But no, but just, you know, like, cause, well, I'm liking it to Quicksilver because he was going in, you know, he would push, you know, the propeller blades out of the way. He would, you know, move the guy's gun, move this guy into the way, you know, kind of shock this dude in slow motion. And so it was the same as Quicksilver was doing, kind of rearranging everybody in slow motion or in super speed for him. And then, you know, time speeds up, and then we get everything happening all at once. That I appreciate. I thought that was very well done. But I feel like some of the additional slow motion scenes that we got and fight scenes throughout the movie were unnecessary. I just felt like it's I don't know if it's a DC thing now, because we got the Snyderverse and you know the Snyder version of the Justice League and all of the slow motion that we got in there. So I don't know if this is the trajectory that they want to go with their movies. No, it's just I just some of the cinematography I just felt was really bad.
Stop bringing that Snyder cut up.
I'm just saying, because the Snyder cut was the one that was notorious for all of their slow motion shots, and I feel like Black Adam was following in that trend.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They brought in the Snyder cut fans because there are many, and they're probably coming.
There are many.
Then that's what I'm saying. There's a little bit of something for everybody. Yeah, even you. There were some things that, you know. Yeah, there were things.
There were parts of the movie that I enjoyed.
That is not to say. That is not to say the movie is without flaw. So that's two.
I'm not saying that there was numerous.
Is that it?
No, I'm not saying. I mean, so you want me to break down the movie scene by scene by scene and tell you everything that I didn't like? I'm just giving you an overall. But no, for me to do that, this is a 2-hour plus movie. I'm not gonna go sit frame by frame and say, all right, in this frame, in this scene, you know, and we did all of this and I didn't like it. Or in this one, we did all of this and I kind of liked it. I'm not about to go from beginning to end of the whole entire movie. I'm just giving you a general, a blanket overall assessment on the things that I liked and didn't like in the movie.
We're going to do that. I'm not saying that. The show's long enough, and I hope that people enjoy the conversation that we have. But I'm saying, you know, there's only two little negatives. So, because
I wouldn't say there were only two little negatives, because it was throughout the whole entire movie.
You can count.
I mean, you're the one that's counting.
Smasher, really?
I'm not saying that I didn't like I'm not saying that I didn't like Atom Smasher. I'm just saying that he was, like you say, it was a nice contrast because of the dark seriousness of Black Adam, and then you had somebody who, as a part of our heroic team, who was trying to, you know, be friends with Cyclone. He was trying to be more than friends with Cyclone, to be honest, but somebody who was of a lighter nature. And I'm not saying that the movie didn't need to have any comedy, because I thought Adriana's brother, I thought he was great. I thought he was fantastic. But I felt like he was because you have the people who, like, this person is comedic relief. So if they're going to be in the movie as comedic relief, then that's what we're expecting from them. I just didn't like the fact that it didn't seem like, because and this was the whole like the problem like with the Justice League, well, not even with the Justice League, with the Batman v Superman and the introduction of the Justice League characters. Like we only saw Flash, Aquaman, we only saw Cyborg, we only saw them in clips on a video screen, right? And like you said, not having any prior knowledge of Cyclone, of Atom Smasher, we don't know how long they've been doing this. So if Atom Smasher is that inexperienced to where he's coming out and he's not watching where his hand is going, he smacks Hawkman out of the sky, why would Hawkman recruit them to his team if they don't have that much experience in the field? It just that part didn't make sense to me. Say again?
Amanda Waller puts that team together. Hawkman has no say in that team. He answers to Waller.
No, but
same as team.
It's not that Waller put the team together, because on that first call that Waller called Hawkman, he was telling her who he was bringing in. That's where we got the introduction to their powers and everything.
Well, maybe he owed the uncle a favor. I'm speculating, but
And like you say, if we're guessing, then that means that they didn't do a good job of explaining it.
But he needed a heavy, and that part was explained.
Right. She said, because Waller said, please tell me that you're bringing somebody that can pack a punch. And so he was like, yes, we have Atom Smasher. So he's bringing this person in. But if he's bringing somebody in who just doesn't have that much experience in the field to where he's not aware of his surroundings, he's knocking statues over in the street. You know that you can grow to be 30 stories tall and you still aren't aware of your surroundings to where you're causing this much collateral damage?
Held him down for quite some time. Did he not? He did his part.
I'm not saying that he didn't do his part, but it just seemed like he didn't know what he was doing a lot of the time.
How you know Hawkman's not record? By the way, the gentleman that played Hawkman, I know him. He was previously from Leverage. At least I think that's correct.
Yeah,
he nailed his performance. I just want to take this time
out
and put that all the way out. I don't know the young man's name.
Aldous Hodge.
Spider's good. That's what I would have said if I would have looked it up. And he killed his role. Killed.
I agree with that 100%.
Keep an eye on that young man. I think he's going to do wonders. Big numbers. But I would like to see him come back again as Hawkman and give him more arsenal within his hammer. We've seen a mace. We've seen the axe. But taking away from none of that, I didn't mind that he was inexperienced again. Great contrast. I'm so dry. What?
No, I didn't say anything.
Two is all you have. So apparently a movie cannot have more than two laws, and it is frowned upon. Okay.
You are putting this quantification on top of this.
I try to tell y'all, my expectations are high. They're so high. They're up there with Thor and the Rainbow Bridge. Oh no, wait, that's down here on Earth now. Thor left out. Thor abandoned. Well, it's on New Asgard. It's in.
No, there's not a Rainbow Bridge on New Asgard. They had to make one in Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'm sure they'll make another one. They got the blueprint.
So
how the DC universe is shifted, man. And Black Adam says he got the crown, and it's gonna be us. They're coming with the medication. That lets us know them pills are coming. He's changed the dynamic of the MCU. I mean, excuse me, sorry, the DCU. It's embedded in me. And I caught the subtle jabs at Superman, and He came through. He's there for his people. I think we got a little hero that's like, don't mess with my folks, and we good. Because as you can see, every time he had an opportunity, he returned to his son's statue. The champion, the true champion. And what more motivations than you need to live up to everything that your son wants you to be as a father, to protect the idea of having his, well, he wanted his people to be free, but they're not free. Actually, if he wanted them to be free, he would have attacked the guys that oppressed him while he was sleeping, but we didn't get that. Because the goddamn Justice Society was trying to take him in. On what crimes? We don't even know why Waller wanted him. And she antagonizes the man at the end of the movie, saying that you don't want to be in my prison. Who wants to be in prison? Especially when you didn't do anything. The only thing he did was avenge his son. So she's going to make his country a prison, saying if you step foot outside of your country, I'm going to send someone who's not from this planet to beat your brakes. And Black Adam's like, send them all. Lady, on your helicopter phone, send them all. So on your drone phone, don't I worry about that. And here this dude come skating in here with his little rainbow outfit on. We're talking to a grown man, youngin. This dude's centuries old. And he already got depression on his mind. He lost his son, he lost his family. Adriana didn't break him off. She went home. I'm just saying. Black Adam. He sat on that throne and gave that that energy on. Like, I ain't even gonna do it to y'all. And destroyed his own throne. How's that for being humble?
I mean, it wasn't his throne. And that's why he destroyed it, because it wasn't his throne. He was never the ruler of Kahndaq.
He sat on the throne of Satan. Or Satan's cousin. You know? DC clearly shows that they're not afraid to give you the devil in the movie. Because, you know, it was symbolism at first, and then we confirmed it with the switch over, with the switch. So he literally how can you not champion for him? And this is what I'm saying. All of the formula that give you every reason to champion for this guy is in this movie. And you cannot deny that you see elements of he's fighting evil, he's fighting demons. That's the team up, because now you're the enemy of my enemy. This guy's trying to overtake my country. So I'm going at him. I don't really need y'all help, but since y'all here, you know, actually, he didn't even know about it. He gave himself up willingly, saying that I you know what? I don't even want to do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say the name son gave me, but take me somewhere where I'll never say it again, because I'm done with all of it.
Well, I mean, the motivation behind that, because he injured Amon and he saw how dangerous his rage was. And he came to the realization that if I continue to let my anger overpower me, then the people who my son wanted to have protected are in danger of me being around. So yeah, I'll give up the power.
Isn't that not noble?
No, I'm not saying that it's not noble. That's what I'm saying. I didn't have a problem with.
I'm not saying that you're saying that it is or it isn't. I'm saying that they're taking the steps to make sure that you see that this guy has this capability, he has this capability, he has this capability. He could be an asshole. Mm-hmm. He can throw a guy into the mountains and hey, did you get information from that guy? He didn't make it.
He didn't make it.
He didn't make it. We'll find somebody else. That dude dead. That dude died going up before he died coming down. I can guarantee he hit the space and came back down. It probably was a cold corpse when they hit the ground. But the point is, they're showing you he's loving, he cares about his people, he'll kick your goddamn ass, But just leave him alone because he got some. Don't play with him. He got some stuff going on. So it was genius to give it all to you. Did it all flow the way it should? Man, not so much. But I do appreciate them stepping outside of the general 3-act structure, formulaic superhero story. I mean, they still did. They gave you everything that you want in it. They gave you Skybeam. They gave it to you. It was right there. Devil sat down, shot a Skybeam out his chest. Didn't stay for long. Didn't understand it. But again, for those who like Skybeams, we got a Skybeam in there for you. For those that like car chases, we got an air chase in there for you. For those who like mysteries, we're playing the shell game. Which motorcycle is he in? We got that in there for you. Oh, there's a twist. He's not in none of them. He's on a truck. He's going this way. Crown's with him. But then the crown's not with him. But it doesn't matter because we gave you a MacGuffin to follow because we got to have this to have that. Do you really though? Not really though, but hey.
We thought he was dead, but turns out he wanted to die.
He wanted to die. Here's the twist. Look at this. Look at that. Black Adam's here. Look how strong he is. Lightning, 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 lightning. Look at his car just melt because he's Black Adam. And he cares about kids. And then he cares about ladies. He don't care about the bad guy.
You sound like you were trying so hard to convince somebody to like this movie.
But that's exactly what I think they did for it. Is try to give you all the ingredients of what you could possibly ask for in a superhero movie with an anti-villain. Stay true to the comics. They set this up so well that it cannot fail. We got the biggest guy in the game playing the character. We gave you a little backstory. We don't have time to give you all of that drawn out stuff. We're expecting you to keep up. This is the pace. This is the pace. And for an origin story, it's not a good pace. And that's what you're probably feeling. You're feeling like I know that's what I'm feeling. If you guys would have took a little more time and develop a little bit more in a storyline in the front, then you could have been off to the races. And then the pace going that way. The fact that you try to allude to Dwayne Johnson being the father originally doesn't necessarily make sense. We could have just had this young kid come up and rebel against what's going on and then have that be a twist later. But as you can tell, the way they did it, they kind of used Dwayne's face on some of the angles to kind of hint at it was possibly him. But if you know his features, you know it's him. So the big reveal that it was his son later on down the line, maybe for me, was not as much a reveal as I think they wanted them to have as far as an impact. That's just me.
One of the things that I found out is that when they showed that scene of the champion going into the palace to stop King Octon, the actor that played the champion is actually the same actor that plays Young Rock in the show Young Rock.
That's right, because that man, Dwayne Johnson, he takes care of you. You rock with him, he got you. He gonna look out for you. And he has been doing that on a lot of his $7 properties. He's opened the door for a lot of talented people. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna put my hair back and put it in a ponytail and just throw that out there. Shout out to The Rock, man. I can't stop calling him Rock because I grew up on that era when you had the millions and millions, and he'd electrified then. You can't turn electricity down. It's the same character electrified. It's The Rock. Come on, man. You don't see the millions of Kondakians standing behind The Rock. He could smell from up there, because the one thing I do respect, they always had him floating and sitting there thinking, like, this dude is just charging all kind of money to have him floating in these scenes. But it's true. If you could fly, wouldn't you float? I would float too. I wouldn't always I'm using my legs so I can fly. I'm gonna stay in the air as long as I want to.
Why do I need to stand when I can float?
It's the natural reaction. Like, this is natural to float. I'm a floater. I would, but I respect that they spend a little extra money on the budget on that. I don't know if it's always going to be sustainable, but he go float when he wants, as any superhero would. If Superman stay on the ground, because I think he believed Batman will beat this. Happened before. Come down here, Kal-El. Or I have to come up there and get you. And you believe that he would. Somehow he could.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, this power structure has. You gotta. Okay, so if it hasn't shifted a little, has it? Eiffel Tower. I mean, not Eiffel Tower. Leaning Tower.
Pizza. Has it leaned a little? It's just like I said. I don't know where it's going. Where it's coming from to go to.
Superman is heavy of the DC universe.
But Superman was never, at least in my opinion, and if anybody disagrees with me, please let me know in the comments, but I never considered Superman to be the power horse of DC when it comes to the DC movies. I just felt like there was no clear front runner. There was nobody in the lead when it came to the DCEU. When it came to the DC movies, there's nobody that's like, oh, when you say DCEU, who do you think of? And it's like, because you say MCU, who's the front runner of the MCU? Iron Man. Everybody is talking about Iron Man.
That was established by DC and Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. When you said I am Iron Man, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't guys before Iron Man.
I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm just saying when it comes to the MCU, there is a clear picture in your head who the face of the MCU is. When you talk about the DCEU, there's no clear face. There are a lot of characters who represent the DCEU. So when you're saying that the power dynamic is shifting, I feel like there has to be a particular person that you're shifting it from, and is going to Black Adam. And since there's nobody that he's taking the power dynamic from, I just feel like, okay, you're trying to take the power, but who are you taking it from? And then in this movie, I just didn't see him. Yes, he is a dynamic force. He's unstoppable. He showed that he wiped the Justice Society multiple times. One of the lines that I was like, kind of like tilted. No, not that one. When I kind of tilted my head when Hawkman landed in the palace and he asked Black Adam, he was like, how many times are we going to have to do this? And I leaned my head. I'm like, really? That's the question you're asking? Because Black Adam then whooped your ass every single time that y'all fought. So you coming back to him again, talking about how many times we have to do this. Are you asking him how many times is he going to have to kick your ass before you just go home? And it's just like little dialogue parts like that. It's like, I don't feel like somebody would say that after they got their ass kicked 3 times already. It's like every time you step to this man, he wipes the floor with you. So you're going to come back again and be like, how many times are we going to have to do this? It's like, shouldn't you be tired by now?
The man said he does not fear death. Okay. So he's not worrying about if he die on this. I would love Hawkman movie.
I would love a Hawkman movie too. I would love a Hawkman movie, and I would love for them to introduce Hawkgirl and talk about their destiny and how it's intertwined and how they're constantly being reincarnated. I would love to have a movie like that, and I would love for Aldous Hodge to play Hawkman.
And then introduce a Green Lantern.
You talking about in the Hawkman movie, or you talking about something separately?
Yeah, right at the end, introduce the John Lantern, John Stewart, and have Hawk. They have a kid in the comics. They'll get it. The fandom will get it.
Yeah, they would get it. I'm trying to see how that would fit into the actual movie. Just
because
and the last thing that I'll say that I thought was
number 3.
It still goes into the dialogue portion of it. When Amon was rallying the citizens of Kahndaq, and
can I just say I hate this?
It's The
I was
Rock.
like, I thought Jay-Z about to sue The Rock Johnson. But again, we give you that. It's The Rock in the right. It's meta.
It's way too meta. But no, when he was making his speech to rally the citizens of Kahndaq, from a technical standpoint, this entire speech was ADR'd in after the fact. You could tell that the volume levels of the audio were completely different. His dialogue sounded like it was recorded in the studio as opposed to him actually being out in the open on set. But just there was no emotion in his speech. He was reading his lines, he was saying them loudly, but he wasn't saying them in a way to where he was trying to, it didn't sound like he was trying to inspire a group of people. It just sounded like he was trying to be heard over a crowd.
Yeah, I agree with you too.
That whole part is like, I understand him, you know, the parallels between Teth Adams' son Harut and Amon both being that inspiration to be the champion and to sort of ignite that fire within the people for them to rise up. I understand the parallels of what they were trying to go for. Like I said, where they were going from A to B to this entire movie, I understand the process that they were going for, but the execution of it just didn't always land. And so that particular scene, that speech, that monologue just came off so flat, and it did not hit in the impactful way that they intended for it to hit. And that was probably my least favorite part of the movie, just because the audio was just so off in that scene.
Hey man, do you know how much CGI special lighting costs? Okay, if it was cheap, we would have some on my finger right now. There's no lightning effect on this finger. Okay, it's expensive, and we got the number one guy on the planet in movies in this movie. Okay, so we ain't got time for him to be going over. Okay, you got to work your own speech. Okay, I got to look good in this suit. All right, I'm like, I can't, deliver everybody lines. Okay, I agree with you though. Yeah, I think inspiration behind the speech. Oh, anytime you throw this up and you don't hear doom 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 doom, what bounce? You don't hear that, you're disappointed. So. Can we all just stay away from this? just leave that alone. That's already copied. Don't touch it. Respect to the man who made it hot. And it just didn't really make sense because there was no parallels and the hieroglyphics that Adriana, right? We're in the same movie. Was reading. We can't read it, but even if you're gonna throw some pictures up, there was some, but I got it. But again, just it was a bad one. And you did better if you did like the Mockingbird from Hunger
Games.
I can't whistle, but you get it.
Oh, it's three fingers.
It's just jarring what it is. It's just jarring. You can't really get behind it, and it's like you're right. Audio was off, motivation was off, and just I'm gonna ask two questions. One. Mm-hmm. Is it a casting decision as far as casting actors and actresses that just didn't kill it? Or can the movie have work without Amon's character at all? Could we have shown another way that he cared about the country?
So, I answer your first question. Was it a casting problem? I would say no. I don't think it was a casting problem because I feel like all of the rest of the lines that Amon delivered and the performance that he portrayed, I felt like it was still pretty good. Like, even though I didn't care for the dialogue of him being that fanboy and constantly barraging Black Adam with the questions. What?
I think he was too old. I think they should have de-aged the character.
You think it should have been a younger kid?
Yep.
I can see that.
Skateboarding with a younger kid, and that would have probably made. He shouldn't have been 14, or Amon should look to be 14, and the young man did not look to be 14, or he
looked like he was like 16, 17, almost.
30. 35.
Bad boys too. How old? 17. Boy, you look 30.
come in with a dry pack, be like, "What we doing today?" I'm on set. Y'all take over.
But no,
y'all want to flip?
Yeah, I will agree with you that if it was a younger child, then I could see, it would seem like it was a little bit more. It will make a little bit more sense because young kids, they do that. They relentlessly ask questions and not even wait for an answer. They just ask a question and then ask another question. So I could see if it was a younger child, that might have made a little bit more sense. But I think for the rest of his lines that he delivered, I thought he did really well. I thought the action scenes that he was a part of, I thought he acted well in those scenes as well. So I don't think it was a poor acting choice. But would the story would have worked without Ahmad's character being in it? I don't think it would have, just because of the way that they set up Black Adam's motivation. And I think that the only reason that he got back into the fight is because Adriana was like, I don't care who you are as Black Adam. I don't care who you are as Justice Society. Y'all got all of us into this mess. My son is kidnapped. So you are going to save my son. I don't care what y'all got to do, but y'all going to work together and you're going to save my son. And because Black Adam lost his son, he had that compassion into, okay, well, I know what it's like to lose a child. So I have these abilities. So yes, I will help. And had they not, because that was the motivation for his rage, and now it turns around and this is the motivation for, his compassion. And even his rage again, because when Ishmael shot at Ahmad and he stopped the bullet, that rage came back out because you're about to kill this child. And he just got so angry that he would even attempt to do that he just raged out and exploded. And then even again, him relinquishing his powers, it was still because of Amon, because he hurt Amon. So that's when he realized, he was like, I don't always have control of this, and it's a danger to people around me. And so he's like, I need to give this up. And so that through line of Amon, or a young child, serving as his motivation, his ups and downs, and what he was doing and why he was making the decisions that he was making. You take Amon out of the story, then, what else is he fighting for? He comes back because he really had no love for the city, because he was like, oh, it's time for you to go home. It was like, I have no home. This is not my home. I don't recognize this place. I don't know this place. So he would not have cared about the new people of Kahndaq had Amon not tried to express to him. It was like,
an annoying kid.
Right, being an annoying kid, like, you're the champion. And they still did the whole Samaritan thing. I never said I was a champion. Yes. I never said I was a hero. And it's like, and then we end up getting a reveal of what exactly happened. His son was a champion. His son gave him the powers. And so, like Adriana said, the statue is not of you, it's of Harut.
The real protector.
Right. And so, but just taking Amon out of the story, like you said, they would have to rewrite the entire movie, because they would have to find another reason for him to actually want to stay behind and protect these people.
Again, they put a lot of thought behind. Then the double twist, because then what's the guy name? The one that ended up being the descendant of the devil, end up being the devil. Ishmael. When I'm watching the scene, I'm thinking, why would you drop your shield? You're going to try to kill this kid. But again, death was the life, or life was the death. He knew the inscription and read it.
Death is the path to life.
And he really didn't need the crown, in the sense that, yes, he did, to hold it so he can become the devil. But we didn't know that. We just thought, even though they said it twice, like 3 times happened, they did foreshadow it. Mm-hmm. And when he got killed, because, Black Adam's killing folks and having an explosion, like you said, the rage that I'm not about to lose a child. Oh, man, you just unleash this corpse. And guess what? You're not even thinking of it, because they faked you out. They showed you the body. Remember, we always, he's sitting there looking like Game of Thrones with his crown on his chest. and then his ashes just start heating up. Who left the crock pot on? This dude's cooking. He's not dead. He's in an egg. He's about to hatch. Bam! Devil walking in correct.
Incarnate.
Yeah, language. Yeah, man. And who can save the day? Shout out to Pierce Brosnan, who killed his Dr. Fate.
He absolutely
I would have wanted to see a
Dr.
Fate movie. Oh my goodness. He came through, and the CGI with that was nice. How they was playing it off the reflection in the helmet, and it was doubling up, tripling up, and trying to hold him down. That was a pretty nice scene. I have to give it to him on that one. And I like how they encapsulated everybody's power and showed, even though she's a cyclone, she kind of, explodes herself to getting shot. I don't understand why nobody would just shoot the center of the cyclone. She's in there. Just whatever.
I don't think they understood what was going on.
It's clearly. I can't. Didn't know I got it. The massive hole in the center of all, they did everything they could, man. They did everything they could to try to give you guys, us guys, the DC, because this is what we asked for. We asked for DC to get their together, and this is them getting their together. There's something in here that you could cut up and get for everybody, and it may not be perfect. It may not be, but neither was Iron Man when they dropped. They just started building it. Neither is the MCU as of right now. There's
absolutely not.
And questionable storylines that we just abandoned, and we still got an MCU. This is what I'm saying. I think they're understanding now, even with the post-credit scene, it has to connect. And even though no matter how bad it was, you can make it better. And that's all you can really ask. You hope everybody gives their best, but ultimately we like to see storylines that fit. I think they did a great job. I think they did an exceptional job of, laying the groundwork for something more to come. And it can be the reignition or the reboot of the DC Warner Brothers $7.
Well, it's not all going to be $7.
You don't know Dwayne's plans.
You think he's going to take over every single DC movie from here on out?
And then you'll see Black Adam destroying the DCEU. That's the version that's the universe you'll get. Because we all know that's the universe that The Rock's writing. Who can oppose him? They establish this. He's fast, lightning fast. He has lightning powers. He's OP okay? Then the problem is when they gave you just a little bit, enough to say, oh, he could get scratched, and oh, he could get knocked down, but he's still OP. The problem when you have an OP character is to play their compassions and emotions and nations, and they lay the groundwork for all those things because he's OP.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand he wants to be OP, but okay, here we go. Because there is a power that if something else is happening, we're looking where Black Adam at. Like, why he ain't here? He could have killed him. So,
well, I think he's already established that he doesn't care about any other conflict.
Okay. So when the world blows up, you think Kandar is gonna just, stay?
That's what that's what it is. As long as Kahndaq is not under threat, as long as they're not under threat, then he doesn't care. If there's something going on in Gotham or Metropolis, and Bizarro comes down and he's fighting Superman and they're destroying all of Metropolis, like Adam doesn't care. But if there's Brainiac is coming down,
or he could show up. Yeah,
I don't think he will. But if Brainiac is coming down, he's trying to basically do what Zod was doing and try to terraform the planet, and this is going to completely destroy the world. Then yeah, Black Adam's going to show up.
Yeah, but whose side is he going to be on?
the side that's going to make sure that Kahndaq is protected.
What happens if you want to expand his borders?
Then
now you know what Waller's involved.
That's the story. She has to keep him in check.
That's why Superman showed up at the end of the movie. Now, power structure, has it shifted? Because Black Adam will do whatever Black Adam want to do. And I think that's the tone that we set. And they succeeded at that.
So here's my question. And this will be the last question that I pose before we get into our final question of the episode. So we talked about the power dynamic of the DCEU shifting. And
about
obviously
the whole show.
What?
I said, oh yeah, about the whole show. We talked about that question.
And so we're talking about the power dynamic shifting from Superman to Black Adam, because Superman was the original OP character, and now Black Adam is the up and coming OP character. You say that Black Adam is going to do what Black Adam is going to do. We saw in Man of Steel that to protect innocent lives, Superman will kill. Superman snaps Zod's neck.
Oh, you're gonna use it? Okay, rightfully so.
I'm using as established in DCEU canon.
That's canon.
Superman will kill. So if it comes down to it, Superman versus Black Adam, who wins in that fight?
Black Adam still, and let me tell you why. Superman, I'm pretty certain is still shook up about that murder. Okay, that's just the content of the guy. That's true to his character. You're not just out here murdering for fun. Black Adam, on the other hand, is showing restraint to not murder someone. Because when he first started, he was murdering everybody. So if he gets to a point that he feels like he would have to murder him, I think he would not hold back and attempt to murder him. Why Superman will probably try to take a more diplomatic approach. True. Black Adam will just drag the skeleton out of Superman if he's strong enough to do that.
But do you think that if Superman realizes that this is a person who will not stop until I am dead, do you think that he's still going to try to hold back in order to prevent from killing him in order to capture Black Adam? And so here's my thing. We see that when they delivered Black Adam to Waller's prison and he got put into his little stasis cell, we saw that his cell was not the only cell that was there.
Yeah, that was weird because I was just imagining who else would they have,
right? And it wasn't just a couple of people. It was a whole. It was like a matrix level of pods. But then they had like pods of different sizes. You had some like huge. So
right.
Do we think that Superman has been working with Amanda Waller and rounding up these people and putting them into this pod? Or have the Justice Society been rounding up these people and putting them into these pods?
Welcome to the universe. Because there's questions like that make you want to see sequels. But I will say this. It was weird to see it without any really context with it.
And like you said, hopefully in a future property, we get some kind of explanation as to what's going on with it.
Superman 2 is a weakness to magic. And Black Adam got his powers from the wizards. It don't get no more magical than wizards.
You're very true. You are correct.
You're looking at the power dynamic that has shifted. It's just what it is, man. I mean, I didn't write it. The man said it. He came through. They jam-packed. Wait, what?
I hate that phrase now.
They jam-packed this thing with a fruitcake amount size of stuff that you got. There's something in there for any superhero guy. There's genres, there's twists, there's sky beams, there's fast spikes, there's tech, there's grunge, there's anger, there's rage. He even screams. It's the stuff that you didn't like in the trailer. It's not even in the movie. So you can't, there's misdirect, there's mislead. They did everything that the MC do.
One of the most replayed scenes in the trailer was him taking down like those Harrier jets, like just punching through the jet, like the wing.
Yeah, there was also that's so true. I was looking for the one that he hit him with the pipe across the head, and
that was in the movie. That was in the movie. That was in the movie.
Maybe I'm thinking about the scene that you're talking about then.
Yeah, because that was when basically Amon stole the gate guard stole his radio. He was riding away on the skateboard, and the guard finally caught up to him. He got him, and he's like, I finally got you. Now who's gonna save you? He was like, he is. And he looked up, and Black Adam wasn't there. And so he was like, oh, come on, man. And then so he finally came back down, and Black Adam, then that's when the guy hit him with the stick. Oh, well, Adriana came up first. She was like, oh, there's my son. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And so he was like, oh, I recognize you. He looked at his little wrist thing. He was like, I'm going to take you in. And she took, I think she took a skateboard. Yeah, she took a skateboard because she kicked it up, took it, and bashed her boy across the head. And then that's when Black Adam showed up because they got cornered. And then that's when the dude hit him with the pipe, and he just flung him into the distance.
Maybe I'm thinking about this. I know. I don't know. And that's the best part of knowing. And knowing is half the battle. Black shifted the power dynamic. There's a new hierarchy in the DCEU. You guys better bend the knee and bow down to the baddest rap name around, Black Adam. Black Adam.
So, of course, with every episode, Mr. VIP Frank Washington, we have to answer this question because the people want to know when it comes to Black Adam, is it super?
I really am on the fence with this. I've been struggling since I saw the movie because there's everything in it that you could possibly imagine that you can ask for in a superhero movie or in an anti-villain, anti-hero movie. It doesn't flow all together. It doesn't flow all together. The pacing was just too rushed. There's a lot of unanswered questions. That's not to say it can't be answered later on, but there's a lot of weirdness going on. One of the reasons, like, how did Waller know Adam was even back? We can go into a whole nother show about the questions that's just unanswered, but I understand what they're doing, and I think they did a good job at doing exactly what they did. There are ways, places to go, there's story to tell, and I'm excited to see about how they're going to tell it. But there's a super. It's
Which you can't get it out?
Put it like this. It's not super. It's not super. But that don't mean it can't be super later on. It might need some time on it. You know, it's too fresh. It's kind of like fine wine. It has not to, put it like this. Look, put it like this. Thor: The Dark World is not many people's standards. I didn't think it was that bad, but by many people's standards, it's not super. In the style of the larger MCU, it became super in other people's mindset because we went back and referenced it, right? Pay attention to what the MCU has did. You looked at a lesser property that will not be this. This is going to do $1 billion plus, I can guarantee that. But they referenced it again in Endgame to bring up its relevance, to make it super in the entirety. In the
grand scheme of things.
Exactly. So all they have to do is kind of reference it later on, and then it just doubles its value. But again, this is just mine. I think they did a phenomenal job. I just don't think the movie is not without error. And I would love to see them continue to capitalize on. One of the things that we learned about the MCU is they learn from their mistakes, and then they make the corrections, and then they put more stuff out. And we're here for it. I think there's a great seed. I think it's a great place to kind of build on it. We are seeing characters returning. Like you said, the Shazam movie is coming back. I don't know why we jumped over Shazam like he's not even a issue. It went straight to Superman because Black Adam villain. And we're going to get Superman versus Black Adam before we get Shazam versus Black Adam. So it's just, he's taking a shot at the king and he's trying to take the king down, and I can respect it. Mm-hmm. It's not going the traditional way of comics. And he's going for the crown. And once you get it, you know, you're going to look at Shazam like, yeah, dude, you don't even really stand a chance. And their power sets are the exact same.
Right.
The only difference of contrast is you have an older man versus a younger kid. Again, what is going on with these wizards? What is going on with these wizards? What is going on with these wizards? Spider, Black Adam, starring Dwayne Johnson, and a whole cast of friends.
Dwayne and friends.
Dwayne and friends like Beyonce and them. No disrespect to Kelly or Michelle. I'm just saying. I needed a reference point. I was just referencing. Okay.
Oh my God.
Is it super? Is it super? Come on, Mr. High Expectations. Were you entertained? Were you not entertained?
So, and that was almost the exact wording that I was going to use in my reasoning behind my decision. Just like you were saying, and just like I've been saying this whole episode, the plot points were there. The story made sense. We've seen movies before where the story just made no sense at all, and it just fell by the wayside. The story made sense. The way that they were trying to tell this story made sense. It all just didn't, like you say, it didn't all fit together in the end. It could have been, you know, and we're not movie producers, we're not writers, we're not directors, so we.
Hey! Don't be throwing those names out there like that. Okay?
I'm not a writer. I'm not a producer. I'm not a director. I'm not gonna besmirch Mr. VIP Frankie Washington
all of the above
by taking away any of his accolades. But at the end of the day, we can Monday morning quarterback this movie from front to back. But in my opinion, in my uneducated opinion, no, I don't think it was super. I think it was enjoyable. Was I entertained? Yes, I was entertained. I thought it was a good movie, but I don't think, like you said, it's not without its faults, and it just feels like these were faults that could have easily been remedied. It's just some of the stuff.
It only took 12 years.
Yeah, it only took 12 years for the movie to come out. And it just seems like it was just some stuff that just seemed like it was overlooked because they had a grand vision of what they wanted to do with the movie. So they didn't pay attention to the finer details. Just like we talked about with Amon's final speech. It was just, I feel like somebody in the audio department, they could have like said, something about this just doesn't sound right. It just sounded so far removed. It's like you have this kid standing in the middle of this courtyard and he sounds like he's delivering his lines in the closet. You know, I'm not even talking about the dead. I'm not
she's been throwing that dynasty sign.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about that. But you know, and it's just stuff like that. And like I said, that had to be probably my least favorite part of the movie. It's one of those things where things will happen and I'm like, okay, you know, I'll chalk that up to just the whole thing about him never using a door. I'm like, all right, it's weird, but it doesn't take me out of the movie. I'm just like, I'll chalk that up to him just not caring, you know, just him doing what it is that he wants to do. So whatever, that's fine. But that last speech, that really took me out of this, like, you know, it took me out of the immersion of the movie. It was like, that just doesn't make sense from a technical standpoint. And I just can't see how they would like overlook something like that. Like, I understand stuff happens and you have to go back, you have to re-record stuff after the fact. And it's just, I don't know. It's just one of the shortcomings of the movie that I didn't really care for. Like I said, getting from A to B, I understood the storyline. I understand the cohesiveness of the Justice Society. You know, it didn't really make sense to me as to why they would bring, you know, an inexperienced person into the field, but maybe that was the only option that they had. But if that was the only option that they had, then make it seem like, well, we wanted, you know, because it said, you know, we wanted Uncle Al, we wanted the original Atom Smasher, but this is what we got because the original Atom Smasher is retired. Make some kind of, you know, comment at least like that.
The Fonz is busy, baby. The Fonz is busy. Hey, Henry Winkler is
But and I understand that, but just make some comment like that, and that way we can see that. You know, and then maybe they did. Maybe it was an original dialogue and they ended up cutting it out of the scene. You know, we don't know what makes it to the cutting room floor. All we know is whatever the end product is that we see in the theaters. But I just think that just one little comment like that could have helped explain as to why, you know, we get out into the field and, you know, Atom Smasher is kind of scared to jump out of the plane. You know, he's hesitant about the heights. You know, just little stuff like that. Just
when you can literally be the size of a building in right,
and it just seems like you're just.
Is it the suit that makes him stretch? Because we didn't really get into it because you loaned it from your uncle.
Questions that don't get answered.
The suit.
Questions that don't get answered.
It's on standalone movie. Is all I'm saying. I want to see more of that. That's it's a universe.
Right. But just at the end of the day, like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. There are a lot of good moments in the movie. I would say that the good moments outweigh the bad moments, but the bad moments just kind of take me out of the immersion of the movie. So because of those bad moments, for me, that's what makes this movie not super.
Ouch.
I mean, look. Not everyone is going to agree with me. I've seen a lot of praise for Black Adam. I've seen a lot of praise on social media for Black Adam. A lot of people are enjoying it.
It's going to be $1 billion movie.
I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. I don't think it's going to make $1 billion.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
We'll put this to the test. We'll put this to the test. As when it's all said and done, when Black Adam is no longer in theaters, we'll see if Black Adam has made $1 billion. So let us know in the comments if you're on Team Spider and you think it's not going to make $1 billion, or if you're on Team Mr. VIP and you think it's going to be $1 billion.
We're doing this.
We are drawing a line in the sand. We are making this.
Welcome to the darkest episodes of All Things Super.
We're drawing that line in the sand. You got to pick a side. Pick a side. Team Spider or Team Mr. VIP.
Team Black. Team Black. That's all I'm saying.
But if you like this video, go ahead, hit the like button.
Black sent you.
Tell them the man in black sent you. But if you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you'll be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version, you can just search for All Things Super on all of your major podcast streaming services. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And we like reading the comments.
We like reading the comments, especially if those comments say that you're on Team Spider and you don't think that this movie is going to make $1 billion.
And if you want to be on a winning team, Team VIP, Team Black, you're going to go ahead and say, you're going to just drop B in Billy Dollars. We'll count them up, let y'all know what the answer is. Well, the truth of the matter is we won already.
Did we? Who is we? And what did we win?
The billions and billions. I echoed it so it can be like,
it's like that was an echo.
That's what I tried to make it. You know, your expectations are really out there, man. They're really out there. Bye, guys.
We'll see you in the next episode.